In the silent, unending blackness of space, a tiny object glittered against the backdrop of distant stars. It wasn't a meteor, nor was it a piece of some forgotten rocket. As it tumbled slowly, the familiar glint of polished metal and glass became unmistakable. It was a smartphone, an iPhone 17 Pro Max to be exact. At mission control, radar screens blipped with an unidentified object, too small to be a threat, too insignificant to raise alarm. But they were wrong. It wasn't a satellite, it wasn't a weapon, it was just a smartphone. But it was about to trigger one of the most unexpected disasters of the decade. The story began weeks earlier, aboard a classified mission orbiting high above the Earth. An astronaut, let's call him Alex, had broken protocol. He'd smuggled his personal phone aboard, a tether to the life he'd left behind. During a routine spacewalk, while fumbling for a tool on his belt, the unthinkable happened. The phone slipped from its pouch, a silent escape into the void. He watched, helpless as it drifted away, a tiny speck shrinking into the infinite darkness. Reporting it would mean the end of his career. It was just a phone, he reasoned. What harm could it possibly do? A harmless piece of tech, lost forever in the cosmos. He made a decision that would haunt him and the world for years to come. He said nothing. Back on Earth, life continued, oblivious to the tiny object tracing a new, unpredictable path around the planet. Weeks turned into a month. The lost iPhone, caught in Earth's gravitational pull, settled into a decaying orbit. Its trajectory was now on a collision course, not with a planet or an asteroid, but with something far more advanced. It was an experimental satellite, a marvel of engineering equipped with a high-powered laser designed for deep space communication tests. No one could have predicted what would happen next. As the iPhone drifted past, its highly reflective screen caught the sun's rays at the perfect angle. For a fraction of a second, it bounced a concentrated beam of sunlight directly into the satellite's primary optical sensor. The satellite's advanced AI, programmed to react to incoming laser signals, misinterpreted the flash. It perceived the reflection not as a stray glint of sunlight, but as a hostile targeting lock. The system's automated defense protocol engaged instantly. With no human oversight, the satellite swiveled, its primary weapon charging. In the blink of an eye, it fired a powerful, invisible laser beam, a silent spear of energy, straight down toward the sleeping planet below. The target was arbitrary, chosen by an algorithm in response to a phantom threat. A city of millions lay directly in its path. The laser struck Dubai just after midnight, the beam no wider than a dinner plate, but carrying immense thermal energy, sliced through the night sky and hit the heart of the downtown district. It first impacted the glass facade of a towering skyscraper. The superheated glass didn't just shatter, it exploded, showering the streets below with molten shards. The chain reaction was immediate and terrifying. The intense heat ignited everything flammable, and the laser's reflection bounced from one glass building to the next. What started as a single point of impact became a cascading inferno. The city's state-of-the-art fire suppression systems were overwhelmed in minutes. Water turned to steam before it could touch the flames. Chaos erupted. Sirens blared as firefighters rushed into a scene from a nightmare, their efforts dwarfed by the scale of the blaze. On the streets, people ran in panic. The glittering metropolis they called home now a raging, unstoppable firestorm. The sky, once lit by neon and starlight, glowed a hellish orange. The world watched in horror as one of the planet's most modern cities burned, with no one understanding why or how this could have happened. Amidst entire blocks of charred, skeletal skyscrapers and smoldering ruins, one single, solitary house stood completely untouched. It was a bizarre oasis of calm in a sea of destruction. Investigators on the ground, and soon the whole world, were baffled. How could one structure survive such an intense, all-consuming fire? The house belonged to a quiet tech engineer who, coincidentally, worked for a defense contractor. Unbeknownst to his neighbors, his home was a test bed for a prototype technology, a multi-layered reflective coating designed to deflect directed energy weapons. The coating, intended for military vehicles, had been applied to his house as a personal project. When the laser beam from space struck the neighborhood, this experimental shield had done exactly what it was designed to do. It had deflected the energy, saving the house while the buildings around it were incinerated. This strange anomaly became the first crucial clue. It wasn't a conventional fire. This was something else entirely. The unburned house was the key to unlocking the terrifying truth of what had happened that night. The investigation went global. Space agencies and military intelligence units from around the world scrambled to analyze every scrap of data. They traced the energy signature back into orbit. The trajectory was unmistakable. It originated from the experimental laser satellite. But the logs showed no authorized firing sequence. It was an automated, unscheduled discharge. Poring over high-resolution imagery from other satellites monitoring that sector of space, analysts found it. A tiny, man-made object had passed perilously close to the laser satellite's sensor at the exact moment of the incident. When they enhanced the image, a collective gasp was heard in control rooms across the globe. It was clear, unmistakable, and utterly unbelievable. It was a smartphone. The unique silhouette and reflective signature matched one specific model, an iPhone 17 Pro Max. The puzzle pieces clicked into place. The lost phone, the reflection, the automated firing. The world was stunned. The catastrophic fire in Dubai, an event that cost billions in damages and countless lives, was caused by something as mundane as a dropped phone. The astronaut, Alex, saw the news from his home, the blood draining from his face. His silent, seemingly harmless mistake had ignited a global catastrophe. In the end, it all started with a simple, everyday object. A lost phone, drifting aimlessly in orbit, set off a chain reaction that no one could have ever anticipated. The incident served as a chilling wake-up call. The vast emptiness of space is becoming increasingly crowded, not just with satellites and grand missions, but with our junk. Space debris, from spent rocket stages to tiny screws and, yes, even smartphones, poses a real and growing threat. Each piece of floating garbage is a bullet waiting to strike. This story is a sobering reminder of the butterfly effect, of how a small, seemingly insignificant action can have unforeseen and catastrophic consequences on a global scale. As we look to the stars, we must remember our responsibility, not just for the grand things we send up, but for the little things we leave behind. Thank you for watching. If this story made you think, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more content that explores the fascinating and sometimes frightening side of our modern world. Stay curious and stay safe.